President Trump has been in office for 266 days. He never got that traditional press honeymoon. The non-stop coverage instead is filled with fake news, tweaked polls, false narratives, weaponized talking points, personal insults and incendiary language. Throughout it all, Mr. Trump has perfected the art of the nimble pushback. But he's not alone in this ongoing battle. Voters themselves disapprove of the ongoing press antics, while stalwart White House staffers continue to keep the media at bay. One in particular is not happy with the news he encounters. "I'm a reasonable guy. But when I read in the morning, when I watch TV in the morning, it is astounding to me how much is misreported. I will give you the benefit of the doubt that you are operating off of contacts, leaks, whatever you call them. But I would just offer to you the advice. I would say maybe develop some better sources," said White House Chief of Staff John Kelly during an appearance before a restless gaggle of journalists Thursday who were eagerly exploring rumors that Mr. Kelly might leave his position. Mr. Kelly's advice underscores Mr. Trump's vexation with an often hostile media which continues to ignore bona fide administration accomplishments, legislative victories and positive news about the economy. Instead, the press flocks around repeat themes describing the chaos in Washington as a perfect example. Meanwhile, a majority of Americans agree with Mr. Trump about the press. 60% of the nation's voters disapprove of the way the news media covers Mr. Trump, a percentage that has steadily increased since he took office according to Quinnipiac University, which conducted the poll. Republicans are particularly vexed with the press. The poll found 90% of them disapprove of media treatment of Mr. Trump, along with 62% of independents and even 29% of Democrats. Two-thirds of men in the survey also agree with the assessment, along with 64% of white respondents, 59% of both Hispanics and college graduates, 54% of women and 32% of black respondents. Your Trump wall news for the day. Several border wall prototypes are taking form or are near completion, reports the San Diego office of the U.S. Customs Border Patrol. The federal agency issued some striking photos as proof. There are 5 of these mighty prototypes from companies which submitted successful plans for President Trump's southern border wall. The sample panels stand up to 30 feet high and use concrete and what appear to be heavy steel reinforced paneling. The construction near San Diego began Sept. 26. "I will say they are looking really good," Mr. Trump told Fox News host Sean Hannity in an interview. Hollywood Guns. A new analysis of the major feature films released just before the mass shooting in Las Vegas confirmed that some filmmakers in Hollywood are preoccupied with violence and overwhelming firepower. 3 of the top 5 movies at the box office featured characters blasting away with automatic weapons, writes Matt Philbin, managing editor of MRC Culture, a conservative press watchdog. His analysis found that 4 movies, Kingsman, Golden Circle, American Assassin, It and Mother, featured 589 incidents of violence, including 212 incidents of gun violence. The total body count of the 4 movies was at least 192. An automatic weapon was used at least 108 times. The study's numbers illustrate the entertainment media's scapegoating tactic, says Mr. Philbin. They complain about lax gun laws, demonize the National Rifle Association and never accept the possibility that Hollywood's glamorization of guns and violence has anything to do with the latest mass shooting, he observed, also noting that the films depicted body slams, explosions, cannibalism and mutilation. FAITHMINDED Voters at Work. The Values Voters Summit is underway in the nation's capital, a major political event with a speaker's roster that includes President Trump, House Majority Whip Steve Scalise, conservative lawmakers, pro-life activists and policy analysts. The content of the event's agenda is also of interest. Forums at the 3-day event include Drain the Swamp, The Day Christians Changed America, How Conservative Christians Put Trump in the White House and Redirected America's Future, Why a Coddled Nation is a Crippled Nation and Outside the Bubble, The Economic Anxiety and Culture Crises in Middle America. Foxified Fox News Channel remains the most watched of any cable channel according to Nielsen Media Research, broadcasting 15 of the top 25 programs, with Hannity rated the leading non-sports program with 3.2 million viewers, and the most watched program among all cable news offerings. Meanwhile, Fox Business Network marks its 10-year anniversary on Saturday with some very promising ratings. FBN remains the #1 business network on TV, and has bested rival CNBC for the last year. Weekend real estate for sale. Johnny Carson's Malibu Beach home, built in 1980 on 4 acres overlooking the Pacific Ocean in Point Dume Beach. 2 bedrooms, 5 onyx baths, natural wood and glass interior, includes dining and living rooms, Asian lounge, office, family room and theater. 7,083 square feet total. 4 fireplaces, 30-foot glass ceilings with indoor arboretum, chef's kitchen, extensive landscaping, guest cottage, tennis courts, waterfall, koi pond, in-ground pool, private beach. Priced at $81.5 million through ColdwellBankerHomes.com. Find the home here. Poll du jour. 60% of U.S. voters disapprove of the way the media covers President Trump. 90% of Republicans, 62% of independents and 29% of Democrats agree. 59% overall disapprove of the way Mr. Trump talks about the media. 21% of Republicans, 61% of independents and 91% of Democrats agree. 52% overall trust the media to tell the truth about important issues more than Mr. Trump. 12% of Republicans, 52% of independents and 89% of Democrats agree. 37% overall trust Mr. Trump to tell the truth more than the media. 78% of Republicans, 34% of independents and 3% of Democrats agree. 11% aren't sure who to trust. 10% of Republicans, 13% of independents and 8% of Democrats agree. Source: a Quinnipiac University poll of 1,482 registered U.S. voters conducted from October 510. Kindly follow Jennifer Harper on Twitter at Harper Bulletin.